right, guys. Well, thanks for joining this morning. And Julie on Zoom, for those of you that don't know, Julie now lives in Ecuador, and when she gets back to her phone or her laptop, we'll have her pan to the beach so we can see her backdrop there. But get some food. We've got Don Sign with Cross Country Mortgage. Is it just cross country now, Don, or do we still need to put the American Eagle part in?
No, you can.
Okay. Well, that'll make it simple.
Right.
So we'll get to Don in just a minute. Don's going to talk about everything mortgage or whatever else you guys want to know about. But first, I want to welcome our new agents. So we've actually had 3 agents join since our last meeting. So I want to welcome, well, first of all, since she's right here, we'll welcome Marcia. So Marcia just passed her test last week, so she's our newest agent at this point. And then Craig over here, Craig Richardson, he joined, been what, a couple of 3 months, Craig? Yes. Yes, so Craig's not brand new, but he's new to us, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep. And then also, she's not with us this morning. She had to work at her other job at Aaron Woods. So a lot of you guys met her last week at our meetup. So great new talent. Glad we have you guys. And I know Craig's got some good news we're going to talk about later on too. But
great.
Let's go ahead and get to Don. Again, this is Don Sign with Cross Country Mortgage. Don's wife is Rachel May. A lot of you guys have met her as well. So Don, take it away.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So I do have a couple flyers for you guys to review. Cross Country Mortgage has what it's called CCM Smart Start. And what that is we will assist up to $4,000 for closing costs. So basically the idea is that the buyer brings in 1%, and this is for conventional loans. Buyer brings in their 1%, will cover 2%, up to $4,000. So to take advantage of the full amount, the purchase price has to be at least $200,000. So it can be above that, but it's capped at $4,000. The qualifying income has to be less than 80% of the AMI, which is area median income. That's something that's different per county. And that's something that I can regulate for you. They do have to be a first-time home buyer. At least one person has to be a first-time home buyer. Any questions over that program?
So you said 80% of the median income for the county.
Correct.
Okay.
So it's different per area.
And first time home buyer, does that ever like reset? Like if someone hasn't owned in like 3 years or something like
Yes.
that?
So the definition of a first-time home buyer is, have you owned a house within the last 3 years?
So it is 3 years. Okay. That was a good guess. Okay.
So we have that program. Also have, just to let you know, we do have the ability to close loans in as little as 8 days. I did have a loan not too long ago where 3 lenders told him no because they didn't calculate his income correctly on his bank statement. Wow. So they denied him. 3 lenders did. The realtor that I worked with came to me and asked me if I could look at it. And I did, and we were able to close in 8 days. And it's 8 business days, so it's actually 14.
Right.
14, calendar days, but still 8 business days.
Pretty
And that's
fast.
with getting an appraisal. And we had to get a new appraisal because they wouldn't switch it over to us.
Wow.
So, I mean, there are those cases where, if you have a client and the lender says no, you just bring it to us, because I think a lot of misconception is when the lender says no, we automatically think there's something wrong with the buyer. But in a lot of cases, that's not true.
Can I ask you a question on
Uh-huh.
that? So for 3 lenders to say no, just for all of us in the group, like, what is it about your process that's a little different that identify those areas? Is it a different process, or is it just you're more thorough?
I don't know if their procedures are different. I'm pretty good at calculating self-employed income or bank statement income. I mean, I do a ton of them. So it's experience. I'll say that maybe. It could be experience or lack of knowing the actual product.
Okay.
That's another one. Or one of the lenders so originally this realtor brought into me to try to see what I can do off of his tax returns. I already identified that he didn't have enough income for tax returns, so I needed a bank statement. Well, they went to another lender who started. They basically told him that they had a bank statement program and they actually did not.
Oh,
So they tried to
Okay.
use his income off of his
Mm.
tax returns and it wouldn't go because he didn't have enough income.
okay.
So they kind of lied to him, didn't tell him. He referred him to somebody that did have a bank statement program, but I don't think they knew what they were doing.
Okay.
So they dragged their feet and became, non-responsive, and that's when she came.
Thank you, that's all.
Yeah, I feel like that's a common problem is, different lenders have these programs, but if the loan originator doesn't know how the programs work or hasn't done them before, it's not gonna work out. But that's what I love about Don and Rachel. They're like experts on all the programs they offer.
Right.
Cross Country has, like, when it was just American Eagle, you guys had a pretty broad range of programs, and then you got even extra ones with.
Yeah, because
Cross Country.
Cross Country Mortgage is the third, I believe the third largest lender in the United States, and it's owned by one person, and he sits in Cleveland.
Do you
And
sell off your mortgages? Or do they?
So-
keep them in-house?
We do service our loans, but we also reserve the right to sell
Okay. Does that give you the flexibility on the criteria in which you can underwrite? Because you service them?
them. So those, like the bank statement programs, are in-house programs,
Okay,
and like the investor cash flow,
yeah,
generally it has to meet at least 75% of the payment. So we have the ability to kind of negotiate.
gotcha.
Like with Rick's, we kind of had to do that a little bit. And there were some things he didn't want, some things we asked for, and then actually, we worked it out to where
Right,
both parties were
but that,
in agreements.
when you're doing it in-house kind of thing, it gives you
We had-
flexibility
right.
standards then when you have to sell off the
Right.
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Right. And those are not QM products as well, so
Okay,
they kind of fit the criteria that we set. So there's that. We had the ability to close in 8 days. Now, again, that's per file. That doesn't mean I can do it with everybody. But it is possible. Any questions I can answer for anybody?
You guys on Zoom got any questions for Don? Julie, we want to see that beach view again. Look
Wow.
at that. Don,
Oh my
what,
gosh.
what would you say is the most common type of loan you're doing these days? Are you doing much FHA or is it pretty much all like standard?
Right now, because the market's not so crazy, we're seeing a little mixture of both.
Mhm. And FHA rates are actually better than.
Yeah, probably about, I would say at least a quarter.
Didn't it used to be the opposite? Didn't FHA used to be a little
Yeah.
higher?
Mhm.
Huh.
what are rates? Did they go up this week?
So right now, about 6.875.
On 30-year fix?
Actually, I have it on my phone.
That's for conventional?
Yes.
Okay.
What's the down payment on conventional?
As little as 3% if you're a first time homeowner.
And Don, when you're done with that, I want to ask you about some of the programs that you guys have. Like you guys got me the signs on the Columbus properties, the new builds.
Mhm.
So I'm going to bring up those products also.
As of yesterday, it was 6.87.
Okay.
Now, it'll, about 11 o'clock is when
Readjust.
it readjusts.
Are a lot of people doing arms now? Is that a thing? again?
No, because the rates are similar to fixed, so
So no point.
no, there's really no benefit because if it goes higher.
Mhm.
Yeah.
People buying down rates?
They are, but, the seller it has to be from a seller concession. Now, well, that's a typical buy down, I'm sorry. Now, to pay points to buy it down,
Right.
I actually tell them I don't
Instead of your
advise
money.
it.
Okay.
Because you have to spend about $3,000 to $5,000 to see any kind of a benefit, which only saves you about $30 or $40 a month. Which means you won't recuperate that for about 10 years.
Mhm.
If the rates go down, you're gonna refinance, and then that money you just paid is gone.
Mhm.
So I never tell anybody to buy points. It just most of the time doesn't make sense.
Is this the program that's advertised on the signs that you gave me for the Columbus property?
I believe so.
Okay, but I think you guys had other programs that maybe those didn't specifically qualify for,
Mhm.
that were also for like first-time buyers.
Right, so, our Smart Start the income has to be below 80% area median income. Now, there also is the state down payment assistance, OFA, which that income is about 130,000. So you can receive up to 5% assistance for down payment on closing costs.
What is
And
the
you work with
median,
those?
Huh?
Okay.
what is the median income for Franklin County?
Probably right around 86,000.
Okay, so 80% would be what, 60?
No, that is the 80,
Oh, that is the 80.
That, yeah.
I got you, okay.
How does that state program work now? It's just,
so basically, the borrowers just have to qualify. Credit score has to be above 650. And debt to income has to be less than 50%. Basically, all I do is, and they have to also qualify income wise, the income has to be less than 130,000. Basically, if they meet the qualifications, all I have to do is register it with the state. The only thing the buyer has to do is a home buyer registration. And it closes the exact same amount of time, normally about 30 days. We've also closed them in as little as 14 days.
and is it a match or is it just money?
Just mine.
Just give money for them?
Yep.
Do they have to stay in, is there any qualifications? They can't sell for 5 years or
So,
7 years or something on that?
There is, so basically, it's considered a soft second. So you do have to stay in the home for 7 years, unless you have to repay it. But if you refinance and there's enough value in it, it's basically added into your loan amount. So it's not like if you receive $5,000, it's not 5,000 on top of that. The only time you would actually really physically have to repay it as far as money out of your pocket is if when you refinance, there was not enough value. Or sell it, if there was not enough value.
Don, I was looking at a search with Sam yesterday, and on her search, she had both single family and condos.
Okay.
So I was letting her know that, most condo communities, at least at the lower price points around central Ohio, are not FHA approved. I remember way back in the day, Rachel used to do spot approvals. Is
Yes.
that still a thing?
Yep.
Okay, how does that work?
So basically, we submit the condo, basically documents, HOA documents to FHA directly. And they review and will approve that single unit, not the community, just that unit.
So what are the criteria that they're looking for?
That's more of I really don't know. That's
Okay.
more of an underwriting.
So I mean, it would still have to meet FHA
Yes.
criteria, which I feel like a lot, it used to be, FHA didn't want like more than 25% of the community to be
Right.
rentals. And I feel like a lot of the lower priced condos, it's gonna be higher than that.
So I will say that out of all the times that we have done it, I've not seen one not approved.
Okay,
And VA will do the same thing as well.
but it's something you wouldn't probably find out until maybe later in the process.
So like, it'll take us about 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, so you'd almost need to figure it out before an offer is written then, right? Like if it's an FHA, unless the buyer can go conventional.
Not necessarily. We've taken in deals where it wasn't approved and submitted it like right away.
Okay,
What we do is on the approval letter, we put subject to
yeah,
FHA approving the condo or VA approving the condo.
okay. Last question on
Uh-huh.
that, you have to get like the condo questionnaire though
Yep.
from, which are those, I've heard horror stories about those, like condo
Well,
HOAs not.
So Rachel's assistant Shelby,
Yeah,
she can get anything.
okay.
Just talk to her on the phone, and you would give her
Pretty good, yeah.
5 minutes and you would give her your bank account
Okay,
information.
okay.
She's good and also she's very persistent.
Yep. I've been on the receiving end of that before.
So we have that in our pocket, so we can get it, you know.
Yep, yeah.
Then also, I want to also point out, there is a new program coming from Homeport. It's called Mod Hill. So basically what this is it's also another down payment assistance program where they can receive up to 15,000 for down payment assistance. You have to self-identify as a minority. Now, what that means, I don't know. So it's geared towards minorities, but that's the way the language is written. Self-identified. So anyway, they'll assist up to 15,000. Part of the deal is you have to have 2% of the grant in your bank account. So if you receive $10,000, they have to have 2,000 in their bank account. And that's not available right as of yet, but it is in the works. Now, that is kind of similar to OFA. The income restriction for that is 140% of the area median income, so it's a little bit higher. So that is also coming as well.
A lot of programs.
Any programs for seniors on the other end of the spectrum outside of the HECM?
Not, I mean, they can qualify for OFA. There's not anything geared specific towards seniors.
Just in the sense that you're trying to downsize these folks
Yeah.
and it's costing them more to go to a downsized property
Right,
than it is to stay in their existing.
because of the rate, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And you guys don't do HECMs, right?
No, we do.
Oh, you do, okay.
We pretty much have everything. I mean, we have construction firm. I can't think of any product that we don't have. I can do land loans. I'm doing a land loan in Tennessee right now.
You have any language around the HECM loan that you can kind of advertise it better than the first thing out of my mouth would be, oh, it's kind of similar to a reverse mortgage, and once you
Like how
say
you
that,
overcome the
it shuts,
objective.
yeah, you
Yeah.
shut,
The
it shuts them
objective.
all down.
So I can send you flyers on it. But I don't particularly sell them. We have a department that handles them.
Right,
But I can send you some literature on
Okay.
it. I'm not very familiar with it because basically, like a loan officer who sells HECM, that's all they do. They don't do the residential side.
Doug, I think the best approach on that type of product, because it's such a different type of loan. I think the best thing to do would be if you had someone who showed any interest in that, get them with the lender that does the
Yeah.
HECMs. I wouldn't want to be in a position where I have to explain to someone exactly how that works.
no, but you
it-
gotta have some baseline to say what a HECM is.
Yeah, maybe.
Otherwise, they don't understand.
Yeah,
And they're not gonna call a loan officer right away
right,
to
right.
talk about something they have absolutely
Yeah.
no clue
Well, I think
about.
the literature would do that for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
that
I
would
do
be-
know, I do know a little bit about it. You can use that to purchase a new home,
Mhm.
Mhm. Right,
right? And of course, you have to be 62 or older.
or it comes into play as all your equity at the end of the day is gone. The nice thing is,
Yeah, because you have to put 50% or I don't know. the
whatever the
exact
numbers,
number.
yeah.
It's
So
quite
you,
bad.
you've gone, and if you were gifting your house to any of your relatives or whatever, there's no longer, that, if that was your estate, it's gone for as
Right.
long as you live.
So of that program is to meet with
Mhm.
everybody so
Yeah.
that,
There's no
Because that could
surprises
be-
at the end of the day.
personally, I wouldn't want to sell that because I feel like, I don't know, I just,
I
I would
think for
be-
certain people, that's a good option, but I think some people don't get educated on it enough,
Yeah.
and get into some kind of bad situation.
right, I don't,
And I've heard financial planners say it is good, once they peel it back
It can be
and
good.
look at it,
It can be.
it's very good for some people.
it can definitely work for some people. Again, I'm not comfortable enough to sell them because I couldn't sit in the family
Yeah,
and just say,
I
well,
would,
this is what we're doing.
Right.
And I just can't see that going wrong, because I would then think about it personally. and how I would take it
Right,
if somebody was trying to sell me that. So I would have a hard time selling. But we do have a department that does things.
But the person stays in there for so long,
Right.
and the house goes upside down, they're deceased, the government picks up
Yep.
that tab at the end, so there's no loss to the family in that sense, and if it goes the other way, they don't
I
get
used
the
to
full
sell
amount, but
heck
you
of
get the other side,
foreclosures.
so.
I used to sell heck and foreclosures because that was a HUD FHA program, but they used Fannie Mae to sell the properties once they went to foreclosure, so then I would sell them. You guys have any other mortgage related questions for Don? We're gonna tap Don for some information on something else here in just a minute. but-
You know, anytime you have any questions outside of the meetings, you know, feel free to call me. If I don't know it, I'll pretty much tell you that, but I will get the information. A lot of it's, I don't know it because I'm not familiar with it.
sure.
Your program of 4,000, is that
Mhm.
Franklin County only, or?
That's nationwide.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you know the dollar amount for Delaware County?
I don't, it's probably similar to Franklin, so I would say around 86.
Okay,
Now, that's only per borrower. So if like a husband and wife are married,
160.
one qualifies and their income's under that, so it's not household.
I got you.
It's just on, so think of that too. And that's how OPA works too. It's only for the person that's on and it's for qualifying income, so if their income's actually over that, but I only need X amount of dollars to qualify, that's what I'll put on the application. So there's ways to,
Just get the buyer in touch with you.
there's ways
Yeah.
to, there's ways to make that work when it actually technically doesn't.
Roughly, based on current interest rates, what does 86,000 in income translate into in purchasing power? Like,
Depending on the county, but I would say probably around, I'm doing one right now, it's about 225. Actually, I think the one we were working with, that we sold on here, they use this.
which one's that?
Well, actually, it was I'm sorry, the one that they backed out of,
Oh, right, yeah.
they were using this, so.
Yeah.
It really depends on the area and what the taxes are.
Yeah. All right, well, any more questions for Don about mortgages? Yeah. All right, well, Don, don't leave. We're gonna talk about Pelotonia next.
Right.
So I brought this up in the company meeting last week, so some of you guys heard me talking briefly about it there, but Pelotonia, if you don't know, is a organization based out of Columbus that does an annual cycling tour, I guess is what it would be called. It's not a race, but it's bicycling to raise money for cancer research at Ohio State. So it started in 2009, I think. I've personally ridden in it, I think, maybe 10 of the last 12 years or 12 of the last 14, something like that. So I've been in most of them. This is a serious organization. Like every year it raises, I think last year raised like $24 million. Just from this one ride, one weekend, $24 million for cancer research. So it's amazing. And one of the nice things about Pelotonia is that 100% of the donations go directly to cancer research. There's no overhead. It's all corporate sponsored. So most charities, it's like 85% goes to the charity, but Pelotonia, it is literally 100% goes to cancer research right here in Central Ohio. So it's raised, I think, 250 or 275 million, something like that over the course of its existence. But each year it's more than the year before. So there are multiple rides. The ride is August 3rd, by the way. There are multiple rides for all different skill levels of cyclists. I can tell you from having done it one time, the 100-mile ride is hard as hell. I will never do that again. I thought I was going to die. I've done though, each year the ride lengths are slightly different, but there's usually one that's around 24, 25 miles. And there's one that's usually 50 to 57 miles, something like that. So I've done both of those before. I would say the one that's 50 to 57, that's pretty challenging for me. I'm not a hardcore rider. I really don't ride that often, but I like riding, but I don't get to it that often. The 24-mile ride or whatever it is this year, it might be 20, 24. That might sound like a lot to someone who's not an active bike rider, but honestly, I kind of joke every year you see, like people riding in that with the Target tag still hanging off the back of their Huffy that they just bought last week, and they make it. So, but basically the money is raised by you getting sponsors. So I brought this up in our company meeting last week because I would love to have a big team all wearing, Keller Williams Capital Partners jerseys with Cap City Professional logos on the other side. That's, obviously this is a charity. We're doing this for charity, but it's also a great promotional tool. I think, you really attract a lot of attention to what you're doing and also to yourself as a real estate agent. So, we promote it pretty heavily. So I guess I'm asking who here has, I'm not asking for a commitment, but who here has some level of interest in getting more information about this? And you guys on Zoom
Yeah.
too. Not you, Julie, because I know you're a little far away to do it, but
I'll be there in
but,
spirit.
but Tim, you're interested. Okay, okay. So
Yeah,
Sam
we
mentioned
said,
that she's
yeah.
interested. Lori, Doug, any interest in getting more info on
Yeah.
this? Okay, okay.
So, and then here's a challenge. The last 2 years, so 2 years ago, I wrote it, I had stage 4 cancer and I didn't know it. Last year I did it and I had a colostomy bag and still.
Still finished it,
Still
yes,
finished it.
yes.
So it's not as bad as it sounds. It probably, for most people, takes about 2 hours. And it's actually not a lot. It goes really quick.
Yeah, here's the
Not Tour
thing
de
too,
France,
like,
Right?
Right.
It's-
like if I went on a bike ride by myself for 24 miles, that's gonna be pretty challenging if I'm just by myself and, it's easy to just say, I've done 15, I'll just quit and turn back or whatever, but
Treadmill.
yeah, exactly. So when you're riding in this Pelotonia ride, there are people along the routes like cheering you on. They got cowbells, they got banners. It's like very motivating.
And there's people on the side of the road with water, snacks. I mean, it's pretty,
Well, and you're riding with 7,000 other people.
yeah. And then
So-
okay, like an inspiration, my grandfather died of cancer and I have that in the back of my mind as inspiration to finish because it is a great cause and, for myself as well.
Yeah, so Don has been our sponsor for what, 5 years,
Mhm.
something like that. So Don and Rachel and their company does sponsor, which helps with our fundraising tremendously. So, depending on how many people, if we have 5 people, each person will get a larger portion of that donation. If we got 10, it's gonna be a little smaller, but whatever, it's still a very helpful thing. And really, I've always said the fundraising is actually the hardest part, more so than the ride. Because if you're just reaching out to individuals and getting, $10, $20 donations, that's gonna take a while to get to your required level. And the required level is different depending on which ride you do, but it's usually $1,200 to $1,500, depending on the ride. But if you've got, corporate connections, like Don and Rachel, you can reach out to title companies that you use. Basically, businesses, you're gonna start getting, larger scale donations, and it actually is much easier that way. So you guys are in a position where you're, connected with a lot of businesses that can sponsor, but Don and Rachel are always gonna be our biggest sponsor, and their names are gonna be on our jerseys. And I'm gonna talk with Josh Uminski too about, getting a company sponsorship, at the very least, getting the company to pay for our jerseys. Because they're like, I don't know, 80, 90 bucks a piece.
Will there be new jerseys?
Well, so you and I have jerseys,
Right.
but, at the very least, we need to get additional jerseys for everyone else, but maybe we want to update.
I'm
your
fine with getting, right, I'm fine
Mhm.
with getting new ones, because I'm sure, especially if we have different sponsors.
Yeah, Yeah, well, I don't want to overload the shirt with sponsors, but you know, if we can get a business that's not competing with yours, like a title company or something, maybe that would be something we can put on the shirts too. And Dawn is also what's called a high roller with Pelotonia. So you have your minimum required level of donations. Dawn gets, what did you get last year? Like $7,000 in donations. So I think once you're over what, 5,000, you're considered a high roller. So then you get some extra perks, some extra swag from Pelotonia. So yeah, don't think that you just have to do the minimum, although I usually just get to the minimum, but Don is a great example of what to do, not me. So,
And then also just think that, just because we are a group, don't think that you have to finish as a group. And I only say that because there's times, well, the last couple of years, I wasn't able to keep up with it.
I think you beat me this time though, this past, I think you finished the thing before I did.
I don't know if I did or not.
I think you did.
If I did, it wasn't by much.
But yeah, we do all start out together at the same time, and same place as a group.
Yep.
I'll talk about something else there's to do as a group too, but yeah, you know, a starter rider may be a little slower, and that's perfectly fine. It's not like you'd be riding by yourself. There's still gonna be hundreds of other people around you. But yeah, we as a group will start out together, but we probably won't finish together. Now, we'll all get together at the finishing party thing. There's a huge party at the end. There is also a party the night before, which, have you ever been to one of those?
I have not.
Okay.
No,
So, yeah,
I think I am.
You don't have to go to that one?
What,
The party the night before?
No, you don't have to.
Okay,
No.
okay.
Why?
I'm not a partier the day, I can't.
Well,
Get a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
I'm calling it a party, Marcia, but it's basically like, it's downtown. They close off like Spring Street. They have bands playing. They have really good catered food. They have, actually, one year they had a tattoo place, so I got a little, this big, Pelotonia tattoo on my calf down here for
You
free.
get the tattoo?
A free tattoo, yeah.
Like a real one? Like you still have the tattoo? You gotta, that's crazy. Okay. A little bit.
So now it's piqued your interest.
Hey, you pick your interest now. You go in.
Buy a bike, first of all.
Borrow a bike.
Yeah.
Borrow a bike. Doesn't have to be a.
There
doesn't have to be
are,
a-
bike rentals available, and I've
Yeah.
got a bike, so I haven't done this personally, but there are bike rentals available through like all kinds of local bike shops.
I don't,
Well,
it might
specifically
be
for
good
Peloton.
for me to get a darn bike, cause my kid likes to go
If you wanna buy a bike, if anyone wants to buy a bike, I can help you, like,
find one.
I know what to look for.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay. Well, I mean, I'm like this, okay? I've got a lot to take in as it is right now.
I will say, it's actually a lot of fun. It really is.
It's the date that's messing me up right now. I mean, it's August is
August
hot.
3rd.
Actually, the last couple times we've done it, I don't
That's pretty
think
nice.
it has.
So it also starts out pretty early in the
Right.
morning.
And you're
So-
not,
Okay.
So
I mean,
you're
you're not
gonna,
wearing a turtleneck.
Right, yeah.
Cause
I
I
mean, I
think,
wouldn't recommend
No,
that.
I would not.
I think we started, what, 8 AM, it's done.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You should finish between 10 and
Yeah,
11.
you're,
Okay.
you're
So
gonna be
it's
totally
not-
done before noon.
It's not
Okay,
bad.
okay.
It's always been pretty nice weather.
Yes.
I remember riding in the rain a little bit for part of
That
it
was,
one year.
2 years ago,
Like-
because we did remember they changed the route. It was in the
Yeah.
city.
So
Now,
it
I
was like a
like
little
that
bit of
route
light
better.
rain. That wasn't really fun, but other than that, we've always had great weather for it.
So if it rains, we still have to do it.
Rain or shine.
Rain or shine.
Hey, I might like the rain.
And then there is a, like, at halfway, there is a stopping point where it has, restroom facilities, and they have
Snacks.
snacks. Normally it's like peanut butter sandwiches,
PB&Js,
bananas, Gatorade.
Protein.
Yep.
Yeah, protein. Exactly. Yeah, for some reason I always gain about 3 pounds doing the Pelotonia because I eat that stuff, and in the end they got like burgers and beer and fries, and yeah, so usually I ride 25 or 50 miles and still gain a few pounds somehow.
So you celebrate by putting stuff in your mouth that will give you cancer.
Well,
Damn.
so, but yeah, so Craig, is this something that you would consider possibly? No pressure to
I don't
anybody
have
here.
capacity in my life to take on something else at the moment. so
Okay.
probably.
Okay, Alex?
But
any-
I think it's an amazing organization.
Okay, okay. That's all I'm kind of seeing at this point is who has interest. So, and I know there's other people in the company that also have interest, so what I want to do is do a Zoom with, we've kind of covered a lot of it here today, but a Zoom with maybe some of the more specific information for the whole company. And Don, I did bring this up in our company meeting
Mhm.
last week. So this is kind of a complicating factor, but one of the guys who always rides in Pelotonia and is very, very interested after I brought it up is a lender. He's with Keller, Home
Okay.
Loans. So obviously we don't want, two lender sponsors.
Right.
So I don't know how to quite work around that piece, but we'll figure something out, I'm
Okay.
sure. So, but yeah, there are several other people here who mentioned to me that they've either ridden before or have interest. I feel like we can get if we can get like 10 or 15 people together, that'd be a great team, I think, for it.
So, but if they wanted to start, because you can start fundraising now.
Oh, yeah.
correct?
Mhm. Yeah, well, so the, registration is, next week, the 20th.
Okay,
So yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to gauge interest before registration started. And you don't have to register on the 29th, but the sooner you register, the sooner
You can
you can
start
start fundraising. Yeah. So, and I've done this so long, like I have lots of fundraising tips for you guys. Pelotonia gives a lot of like sample, like emails you can send out and sample social media posts, but I've kind of tweaked it over the years and I think made it a little more personal, maybe. So, okay. Well, yes, I just wanted to kind of gauge interest in that, and, Don, that was one of the reasons I wanted you here today, was
of course.
talk about your experience with
Yeah.
it, and as a cancer survivor, that's kind of next level information at this point, so, yeah, Don's an inspiration. So, okay. Well, so, if there's no more questions about that, we will go around the room and talk about new listings and buyers. So,
Well, thank you for having me.
yes, thanks for coming, Don.
Again,
Thanks for
if there's any specific questions, just reach out to me.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. So who should we start with? Alex, let's start with you. We'll go
I can
clockwise.
go first. I'd probably be first and last.
That's right.
No new listings or buyers right now. I'm just doing some research on things, getting connected with a couple builders. I probably have like 2-3 calls with them later on today at some point. Just gonna really talk to them and see, like if they allow agents to hold open houses for them or what, because I've definitely talked to some builders that are like big no about it and everything, and I'm like, okay, well, then it's your house and I'm like, and I'm mine, like,
DR Horton, is that one of the ones that you're,
I got DR Horton, Miranda, and Holt.
okay. Not sure about the other two, but DR Horton definitely does allow you to co-market their properties and hold open houses. I would check with MI Homes also.
Okay.
I just gave Lori a contact there. She's been with MI for like 15 years or something, but
Who's your contact?
it's her name's Joy Adkins. But she used to say, yeah, you can come do videos that are spec homes, you can do open houses. So unless their policies changed, MI would be another one to reach out to. I'll send you her info.
Great.
All right, thank you. Craig, so welcome. This is your first meeting with us, right?
Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah, first time in the meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a listing this week.
Yes, you did. A nice listing, might I add.
Yeah, it's a nice one. It's a 2019 vintage Bob Webb custom built in Jerome Village. We're gonna go to market at 953, which is probably that's the high end of the range. I don't think we'll sell for that much, but it's a good starting conversation starter, which is great. And then I picked up posting it up the house this weekend at Nancy's listing on the east side.
Send me the info on that. We'll do a graphic on our social media and post it
For what?
for your open house.
Oh, yeah, I shared it on mine.
Okay, we'll still put it on our group page though too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is past Sunday, Actually, great. It's kind of weird. So Saturday I met with a house that's gonna be like 950, and then Sunday I was at an open house for a house at 225.
Yeah,
But it was crazy because at the open house at 225, I had 10 groups through in 2 hours. And I got one definite buyer candidate out of that, and then one that's confidence. They were like, yeah, we're interested in another return call, but that's okay.
but keep trying.
Got to kiss love frogs. So that was really good. So, and then I had last night, I had about an hour-long conference call with a guy who's interested in investment property. So I'm doing a ton of education, just for what it's worth, bigger pockets. There's a podcast, a YouTube channel, and there's a ton of resources on their site you can just get for free, like education about how investment property works. You can buy a membership to Bigger Pockets. You don't have to take advantage of all the education. I've learned a ton about investment property and metrics and how things work, and all of it for free.
That's great.
So we spent about an hour on the phone last night looking at a couple rental with like duplexes. He's interested in something, so I got some things working.
You
And I
do?
just stepped out because a friend of mine called me. He's a business broker, and he said, "Hey, I'm showing a business to a guy who's moving from Denver. He's going to be there for a couple weeks, and he wants to see some homes getting help." So,
Yeah,
so I just stepped out, took that call. So
Yeah.
nice.
yeah,
Filling up that pipeline.
things are moving.
Yes,
Things are moving.
fantastic. All right, Doug.
Slow right now.
Mhm.
I have my buyers that are still on the fence. There's waiting, and once they get buying, then they'll buy and sell. So that's that. Working with, Lori and I met with another title company to look at potentially farming different areas.
Nice. Which title company?
Heart of gold.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with them. Good.
That's about it.
Did they quote you a price for like postcards? What, just curious, what was their price? Cause I find that varies a lot from title company to title company.
It was pretty competitive.
They use the same.
But allows them to pay up to half, but most title companies do more like 30%. or-
He was doing 15, I think, 15%.
Mm,
I've been very efficient and already filed his email.
That's all right, I was just curious.
I'll send it to you. I'll send you this
Okay.
one, forward it to you. But it was pretty competitive.
Okay. Doug, anything else? Okay. Sam?
So I might have a listing.
Mhm.
I have a listing of, well, I texted him. He sucks at responding to his phone because I think he works like weird hours, but, and he's out of town a lot, but I potentially have a listing appointment this week or next week. With, someone, the house is in Evans Farms. It'd be a pretty nice listing. So that's really good. I also have another open house at a different, builder in Evans Farms this weekend too. So just trying to like build up the buyer contacts for him and like if, well, one, get any buyers from me first off. But if that doesn't happen, at least I have a bunch of buyer contacts if I do get this listing, so we can get it off the market as soon as possible.
You're kind of
Which-
the queen of Evans Farm now.
I know, I'm kind of like thinking, like, how would you farm Evans Farms though?
I mean, those are such new homes
Yeah,
and
so I'm
people
thinking Lewis
buying,
Center.
people buying in that price point are not gonna turn over real fast. They're not gonna be like sell and move
No.
up to a bigger one 2 years later.
Lewis Center.
So, but Lewis Center in general, yes, and there's a lot of more like modestly priced neighborhoods in Lewis Center where there is more turnover.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of thinking about that, cause I at least like, I also know that area the best, like, so it would be really good to like become like one of those well-known agents in that
Yeah,
area, which, cause I don't even think there's that many in, like, at least for me, I never see any, like, you got the agents on the Kroger ads on the cards, but like, they were weird.
Yeah, now there's some neighborhoods in Lewis Center I'm thinking of that would be great for farming, like where they're more like, you know.
Yeah, well, so my
Creek.
grandparents' neighborhood is the Oak Creek, just normal Oak Creek.
Uh-huh.
Or they're like, they were sold for 250,000 in 2010, and now my grandparents' house on RPR says $500,000.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, so, yeah, it might be a plan to start farming Lewis Center.
You can just start looking at what's happening in those communities that you can share on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok,
So
that just shows that you're active in the community and you know what's happening in
So
the
my
community.
mom,
so you become a
funny enough,
resource.
she was like, my sister's on a girl wrestling team for Orange.
Oh, nice.
And so it's a brand new thing and they need donors and stuff and sponsors and stuff like that. And I went to Orange and I have high school teachers there. So my mom was like, well, I can just pay for sponsorship and use your name on everything.
Yeah.
So
Good idea.
we might do that too. But the wrestling season starts up next year. It's already done, so. But that might be a plan too. Yeah.
Very good.
Lori.
Still working with my buyers looking for a condo, so we're spreading out, we're starting to look at possibly new build options. We think, have some conversations, need to have some conversations today and tomorrow, a couple of builders to see, based on what she currently qualifies for with some of their programs and incentives, could we up the dollar value and possibly put her into a new build condo, which would just gives her another option. I had an appointment on Saturday with my sellers to walk through their condo. It's a condo in Powell. Located in Powell, but Buckeye Valley schools. So person who doesn't want to pay all and change the school from Buckeye Valley schools. So I'm meeting with them on Saturday to walk through so we can start the process of doing some comparables and figuring out what we want to list.
Where's that condo?
It's, just,
Sutter.
right next to Riverside. Oh my God, it's like, we're right in between, it's Two Creek Drive. So that little development,
Is it north of Home Road or something?
it's south of Home Road. And there's like maybe 20, 30 units in that little area. So it's in the 300s.
All right. If you get it, I posted out the House of Mirfield, and this couple came through, they're looking for a condo in Powell.
Okay.
What's their time frame now?
They're moving into a new build, a Rockford. Right now, it's May, June. It was June, July, so now it's
So I
May,
was thinking,
June
yeah.
timeframe.
Okay.
So,
We can connect that. Let me know.
I think that's about it for that. This weekend is kind of booked up, but, for open house opportunities, following weekend.
Mhm. I noticed the open houses have really like
Yeah.
blown up here the last week or two, so
Mm-hmm.
some people kind of took the holidays off and now they're really back into it, so, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Marcia, you've been licensed for a whole week now, so,
Hey,
Oh, yeah. I guess
yeah,
I-
it's been a whole week, yeah. So, yeah, you should have all kinds of stuff happening now, right? I think I broke Marcia's brain yesterday, Sam and I did, we gave her,
Okay.
she was available for, how long was that, like 4 hours or something, and we,
9 to 2.
it's 5 hours, so yeah, we gave her 5 hours of information overload, so.
Yeah. I'm still trying to, get through and kind of get back to like what's important here, what I need to do, my steps and everything, and I'm on the same, I want to do some open houses here soon. That's my goal. That's my first goal. We gotta start with that, and that's pretty much where I'm at.
We can look at some of the ones on the list, like after the meeting, if you want, and try to pick one out for you.
Okay.
All right, on Zoom, Julie,
Julie.
how are you?
I'm good.
Oh no, our good view went away.
Yeah.
What?
It's the time to shine.
Well,
There it
it's
is.
very, very warm here. So I have my head in a headband and I haven't put on any makeup.
We don't care.
Yeah.
Hey, we're not
looking at you.
What'd you say?
So we're not looking at you, we're looking at the beach. Where's Violet?
I don't know. She's around here oh, there she is. Hold on. Can you see her?
There she is. Hi, Violet.
Yes, she's exhausted because we walk and we walk and we walk and we walk. So it's all good. But I'll show you you want to see my favorite view? Hold on. Okay, so I'm on my terrace and I'll just show you. There we go.
Wow.
Wow.
And those mountains, I love those mountains out there.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is
So yeah, I'm not suffering any here, that's for sure.
maybe sweating a little, but
Maybe, yeah, I may be losing tons of weight from sweat, but I'll take it.
well,
Anyway, Lori, huh?
is there anything real estate related you wanted to talk about, or you just wanted to show off your great views?
Well, no, I thought Lori, were you talking about Nancy or you want me to talk about?
You can, it's your client. You talk about Nancy.
So Lori is working diligently to find my friend Nancy a condo or house. She's very indecisive, so I appreciate your patience, Lori. And if she buys, then she'll have a beautiful home in Gahanna. If you guys have anybody looking there, I think it's 4-bed, 3-bath, beautiful sunroom, facing a park. I'm thinking now it'll be between 550, 570, but I need to pull comps. She buys a house, just for reference, about every year or two.
He does, yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes she upgrades and sometimes she downgrades. What?
Frequent flyer program.
Yes. So that's all that I'm into right now, and just moving into my new home.
Yes. Well, we're all jealous, Julie,
Yeah.
but we're glad you joined us this morning.
Oh, it's good to hear all of your guys' voices.
All right, Tim, how are you this morning?
Doing good.
Good.
And
Yeah, we can hear you now.
cool. Yeah. Not much going on. We were busy with the snow this past weekend with with the day job. And right now I'm mostly just trying to gain as much knowledge for my investor clients, but they're both very like warm leads, really trying to buy immediately, more like maybe end of the year. So just trying to get as much education for myself that then I can give to them and educating them too.
The learning part's always very important. So I know that's not quite as fun as sitting at a closing table, but it will lead to that. So you're doing it right.
Mhm.
Well, thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, always beneficial.
Sorry you can't be here for the breakfast foods, but
Yeah,
You
I
wouldn't
got the
like
little
it,
bears
Apple.
watching Scooby-Doo.
all right, guys. Well, thanks for coming to the meeting, either virtually or in person, and for you guys here, get some food and yeah, we'll do this again next week.
Sounds good.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.